Today in Luther's Kitchen, we're making fish tacos with chipotle slaw, and I'm starting with the slaw so it has time to deepen the flavor. So to begin with, I've got a lot of fresh lime juice at the bottom of that bowl. I added sour cream, and now I'm going to squeeze in some chipotle paste. This stuff is incredible. I found it on Amazon. It beats buying canned chipotles and blending them, and then what do you do with the rest of them? So you want to whisk all that very well. Taste. If it's not spicy enough, you can always add a little bit more. Now I'm going to finely chop cilantro, and I'm making a lot of this, so I'm using an entire bunch, but if you're not making a lot, if you're only serving 4 people, a couple tablespoons of cilantro is fine in this slaw, but you want it finely chopped. Now I'm going to cut some scallions, and I want to get rid of that yucky tentacle-y part at the bottom and any kind of stray skin pieces that are attached to the side. I've already rinsed these, that's very important, and I'm just lining them up so I can cut all of that off at one time. And then I want to thinly slice these. The thinner the better. It makes for a more attractive slaw, and you don't want to have a big chunk of raw green onion in your mouth, or at least I don't. So I like to chop them very fine. Now I'm using a beefsteak tomato or a hothouse tomato, and I don't like to throw anything away, so I start with slicing around the core, and I'm cutting this like I would for salsa or pico de gallo. So I want small squares of tomato because I think it's attractive in the slaw. So you want to cut your tomatoes into a small dice, and you want to try not to squeeze the tomato too much because you don't want it to get mealy and mushy. In a large bowl, I'm now going to combine the chipotle dressing, and I added some kosher salt to that, so you should add salt, obviously, and taste according to your seasoning preference. And in the bowl, I've got the cilantro, I've got the scallions, and I've got tomatoes. Now I'm adding purple cabbage. It comes already cut at the store, makes my life a whole lot easier. Any large chunks, though, I like to remove because they're kind of awkward in the taco. And I'm following the purple with green cabbage. This is finely shredded green cabbage, super pretty. Now we just give everything a good toss, and when the dressing is well incorporated with the cabbage, check the taste again, make sure it has enough salt to your liking. To make these fish tacos even more delicious, we're starting with uncooked flour tortillas. You can buy these in all the major grocery stores now, and even Costco sells them, and they sell the organic kind with only 5 ingredients. They really do make a difference in the end product of the tacos. So you start with one side, and when you see a bunch of bubbles come through, like you see it right now, you get a pretty good idea that the tortilla is ready to flip. So we're using a large skillet, and we're putting this over medium-high heat, and we're going to cook several tortillas. And now for the fish, we're going to grill this indoors on an indoor grill pan, and fish is really up to you. I like using tilapia, it's readily available. This is fresh tilapia, and we've made a spice rub mixture that has dried ancho chili powder, dried chipotle powder, some cumin, and some kosher salt. And I have lightly sprayed that grill pan with oil, canola oil preferably, just so the fish doesn't stick to it. I find I'm much more successful grilling the fish indoors than on the barbecue, where it tends to fall apart. You know when the fish is done when it turns white, so it starts out kind of opaque, and by the end, when the fish is cooked, it turns white around the edge, and then the center part should be white. So when you see that it's turning white around the edge, it's a good time to flip, and this looks a little blackened. It's oh so delicious. So here is our finished fish product, and we're putting it inside a fresh flour tortilla. And then we're going to top that with the chipotle slaw we made earlier. Although my kids are not huge fish fans, when I show up with fish tacos for dinner, they run to the table. This is a spectacularly delicious and not super complicated weeknight dinner meal. For this recipe and more, please visit myclasscancook.com.